Hello, this is Hehr bringing you Chapter 7 in the series The History of Rock and Roll, The Big Hits. In this program, we look at the number one records of the year 1961. The first of these was Wonderland by Night, a brilliant instrumental by German orchestra leader Bert Kaempfert. It hit number one on January 15th. After 3 weeks, girly group the Shirelles managed to put their fourth record, Will You Love Me Tomorrow, into number one on February 15th.
Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Tonight the light of love is in your eyes. But will you love me tomorrow? Is this a treasure, or just a moment's pleasure? Can I believe the magic of your sight? Will you still love me tomorrow? Tonight with words unspoken, you said that I'm the only one. But will my heart be broken when the night meets the morning sun? I'd like to know that your love is a love I can be sure of. So tell me now, and I won't ask again. Will you still love me tomorrow? So tell me now, and I won't ask again. Will you still love me tomorrow? Will you still love me tomorrow? Will you?
Veteran German-born orchestra leader Lawrence Welk, who had been in the recording business since 1944, had his first number one on February 19th with Calcutta. Then followed that chicken-pluckin' chubby checker with his second number one record, Pony Time.
It's pony time! Get up! Hey now, everybody! Leave the Union Hall! It's pony time! When you hear this call, so get with it! Don't quit it! Get up! Do the pony with your partner, or in the big boss line. But anyway you do it, you're gonna look real fine. So get with it, don't quit it. Get up! Now you turn to the left when I say G. You turn to the right when I say hard. Now G. Jam, jam, little baby. Now hard. Jam, oh baby. Oh baby. Pony baby. Do it baby. Oh baby. Oh baby. Gonna see little Susie, who lives next door. She's doing the pony. She's taking the floor. Yeah, so get with it. Don't quit it. Get up!
You're listening to the History of Rock and Roll on Access Radio 3ZZ, where the people make the programs. Elvis Presley released Surrender, hot on the heels of his previous number one, Are You Lonesome Tonight? It made number one on March 26th, and here again, as with his previous hit, It's Now or Never, Surrender was based on an old Italian love song, Come Back to Sorrento.
When we kiss, my heart's on fire, burning with a strange desire. And I know each time I kiss you that your heart's on fire too. So, my darling, please surrender.
Following Presley came the Marcells with their version of the old standard Blue Moon. It was to spend 3 weeks on top and was followed by a young guy from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Del Shannon, making his record debut with a great song called Runaway. It made number one on April 3rd.
What went wrong with our love, although it was so strong? And as I still walk on, I think of the things we've done together, while our hearts were young. I'm a-walking in the rain, tears are falling and I feel a pain, wishing you were here by me. She ran away, and I wonder where she will stay. My little runaway, run, 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 run away. Wishing you were here by me to end this misery. And I wonder, why she ran away, and I wonder where she will stay. My little runaway, run, 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 run away. Run, 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 run away.
After a 4-week run in the number one slot, Runaway gave way to Ernie K. Doe's Mother-in-Law. But this was only to last for 1 week, being overtaken by Ricky Nelson's Travellin' Man, his first number one in 3 years.
I'm a traveling man, made a lot of stops all over the world, and in every port I own the heart of at least one lovely girl. I've a pretty senorita waiting for me down in old Mexico, and if you're ever in Alaska, stop and see my cute little Eskimo. Oh, my sweet Fraulein down in Berlin town makes my heart start to yearn, and my China doll down in old Hong Kong waits for my return. Pretty Polynesian baby over the sea, I remember the night when we walked in the sand of Waikiki, and I held you oh so tight. Oh, my sweet Fraulein down in Berlin town makes my heart start to yearn, and my China doll down in old Hong Kong waits for my return. Pretty Polynesian baby over the sea, I remember the night when we walked in the sand of Waikiki, and I held you oh so tight. Well, I'm a traveling man. Yes, I'm a traveling man. Yes, I'm a traveling man. Well, I'm a traveling man.
You're listening to the History of Rock and Roll on Access Radio 3ZZ, where the people make the programs. And if you're interested in making a program on 3ZZ, why not ring during office hours on 600721 or write to 3ZZ Access Radio, Post Office Box 1686 GPO Melbourne. That's Box 1686 GPO Melbourne. Roy Orbison achieved his first number one record on June 11th with Running Scared. It was followed in turn by Pat Boone's Moody River and Gary U.S. Bond's first and only number one record, Quarter to Three. Bobby Lewis, a Negro with a good bluesy background, had a number one hit with his fourth record, Tossin' and Turnin'.
I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just thinking of you. Everything weren't right. Well, I was tossing and tossing and turning all night. I kicked the blankets on the floor, turned my pillow upside down. I never did before, because I was tossing and turning and tossing and turning all night. Jumped out of bed, turned on the light. I pulled down the shade, went to the kitchen for a bite. Rolled up the shade, turned off the light. I jumped back into bed, it was the middle of the night. The clock downstairs was striking 4. Couldn't get you off my mind. I heard the milkman at the door, 'cause I was tossing and turning and tossing and turning all night. Jumped out of bed, turned on the light. I pulled down the shade, went to the kitchen for a bite. Rolled up the shade, turned off the light. I jumped back into bed, it was the middle of the night. The clock downstairs was striking four. I couldn't get you off my mind. I heard the milkman at the door. Because I was tossing and turning. Yeah, tossing and turning. I was a tossing.
Tossin' and Turnin' was one of the best sellers for 1961, enjoying a 7-week stay at number 1. In 1961, Joe Dowell recorded Wooden Heart, the song that Presley had done several years before. But unlike the Presley version, which never made the charts, Dowell's recording did make the charts and indeed hit number 1 on September 3rd. A song with a religious theme followed. Michael, the Highwayman's first record, hit number 1 on September 10th and remained for 2 weeks. Bobby Vee was just 15 years old when he put down his first record in 1959. His first number 1 record, Take Good Care of My Baby, reached that position on September 24th.
My tears are falling 'cause you've taken her away. And though it really hurts me so, there's something that I've got to say. Take good care of my baby. Please don't ever make her blue. Just tell her that you love her. Make sure you're thinking of her in everything you say and do. Take good care of my baby. Now don't you ever make her cry. Just let your love surround her. Ain't a rainbow all around her. Don't let her see a cloudy sky. Once upon a time, that little girl was mine. If I'd been true, I know she'd never be with you. So take good care of my baby. Be just as kind as you can be. And if you should discover that you don't really love her, just send my baby back home to me. Well, take good care of my baby. Be just as kind as you can be. And if you should discover that you don't really love her, just send my baby back home to me. Take good care of my baby. Well, take good care of my baby.
Bobby Vee was taken over by Ray Charles' second number 1 record, Hit the Road Jack. Dion DiMucci, who hailed from the Bronx in New York, formed a group called the Belmonts in 1957. They recorded a number of records, some of which were hits. Then in 1960, Dion split from the Belmonts and went solo. His 5th record, Run Around Sue, made number 1 on October 29th.
Here's my story, it's sad but true.
You're listening to the History of Rock and Roll on Access Radio 3ZZ, where the people make the programs. Jimmy Dean's classic recording of Big Bad John was a bestseller for the year, reaching number 1 on November 12th.
Big John, Big John.
Every morning at the mine you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245, kind of broad at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John.
Big John, Big John,
Big Bad John,
Big John.
Nobody seemed to know where John called home. He just drifted into town and stayed all alone. He didn't say much, he kind of quiet and shy. And if you spoke at all, you just said hi to Big John. Somebody said he came from New Orleans, where he got in a fight over a Cajun queen, and a crashing blow from a huge right hand sent a Louisiana fella to the promised land. Big John.
Big John. Big John.
Big Bad John.
Big John.
Then came the day at the bottom of the mine when a timber cracked and men started crying. Miners were praying and hearts beat fast, and everybody thought that they'd breathed their last except John. Through the dust and the smoke of this man-made hell walked a giant of a man that the miners knew well, grabbed a sagging timber and gave out with a groan, and like a giant oak tree just stood there alone. Big John.
Big John. Big John.
Big Bad John.
Big John.
And with all of his strength he gave a mighty shove. Then a miner yelled out, "There's a light up above," and 20 men scrambled from a would-be grave. Now there's only one left down there to save Big John. With jacks and timbers they started back down. Then came that rumble way down in the ground, and as smoke and gas belched out of that mine, everybody knew it was the end of the line for Big John.
Big John. Big John.
Big Bad John.
Big John.
Now they never reopened that worthless pit. They just placed a marble stand in front of it. These few words are written on that stand. At the bottom of this mine lies a big, big man. Big John.
Big John. Big John.
Big Bad John.
Big John. Big John.
Big Bad John.
Big Bad John enjoyed 5 weeks on top before the Marvelettes' version of Please Mr. Postman took over. In mid-1961, the Tokens had changed recording companies. Their first record for Warner Brothers was to be their first and only number one, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. It hit number one on Christmas Day 1961 and made a very nice present for the group. And that brings us to the end of this Chapter 7 in the history of rock and roll, The Big Hits. In our next program, which will be next week at the same time, we look at the year 1962. So until that time, this is Hehr saying goodbye to you and good rocking.